Have you ever looked at a page in your favorite book and suddenly found the words blurring together, even though you could read them just fine yesterday? Or maybe the lights in your kitchen feel too harsh, or driving at night has become something you quietly dread? These are not just inconveniences, they are signals. Subtle at first, but they grow louder with time. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Ageless Garden. I've spent over 30 years helping adults over 50 reclaim their energy, clarity, and joy. Today we're going to talk about a quiet thief that's stealing vision from millions, cataracts, and the natural ways we can push back, including one surprising fruit backed by science that I'll reveal at the end, something I recommend to nearly every patient in my clinic. This isn't about miracle cures or false hope. It's about taking back control, one bite at a time, with foods to improve eyesight and protect the vision you still have. Let me start with something small, really small. A fruit you can hold by the handful, toss into your oatmeal, and barely think twice about until you understand what it's doing inside your body. Blueberries. They're often called a superfood, but honestly, that word gets thrown around too much these days. So let me say this, not as a marketer, but as a doctor. Blueberries are one of the most powerful allies your eyes will ever meet. Inside every deep blue skin is a group of compounds called anthocyanins. Now, I won't drag you through biochemistry here, but think of anthocyanins like your eye's private security team. These are antioxidants that patrol your retina, your blood vessels, and your lens, cleaning up the mess that time, light, and inflammation leave behind. You see, every day, your eyes are bombarded by stress, not the kind you feel in your shoulders, but the oxidative kind. This comes from ultraviolet rays, blue light from screens, even from the natural aging of your own cells. Over time, this stress weakens the lens, damages the retina, and disrupts blood flow to the most sensitive parts of your vision system. And that's where blueberries come in. One study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that regular intake of blueberry anthocyanins helped improve night vision and overall retinal function in aging populations. The researchers observed better blood flow to the eyes and a reduction in oxidative damage, exactly the kind of breakdown that leads to cataracts and macular degeneration. But you don't need a study to tell you what your body will begin to feel. Many of my patients report less squinting when reading, more confidence driving at dusk, and a general lightness in their eyes after just a few months of regular blueberry consumption. Let me tell you about Al, a 72-year-old former truck driver who came to me with worsening glare issues at night. He wasn't ready for surgery. He was tired of eye drops, but he was open to trying food as medicine. We added half a cup of blueberries to his breakfast daily. 6 months later, not only had his visual contrast improved, but he told me something else. Doc, he said, I forgot how easy it used to be to read the paper. Now I can sit down and enjoy it again, without blinking and rubbing my eyes every 2 minutes. Now here's the best part. Blueberries are incredibly easy to add into your day. You don't need to juice them, or bake them, or turn them into anything complicated. Add a handful to your morning oatmeal. Blend them into a smoothie with some spinach and almond milk. Toss them on top of whole grain toast with a smear of peanut butter. Even frozen blueberries hold their nutritional power. Just make sure you choose the unsweetened kind without added syrup, and the results aren't immediate. That's important to understand. This isn't like flipping a switch, but vision doesn't vanish overnight. And with the right foods to boost eye health, it doesn't have to. It's like watering a plant. You don't see it grow every day, but you keep nurturing it, and one day you look back and realize something strong has taken root. Blueberries are that kind of nourishment for your eyes. So if you're looking for eyesight improvement food that fits into your life without turning it upside down, start here. Small fruit, big reward. Now let's turn to something that doesn't often make it onto your grocery list. It doesn't sit in the fruit bowl or shine under supermarket lights. In fact, most people walk right past it, unaware of the powerful medicine hidden inside. I'm talking about rose hips, the small red fruit of the wild rose. If blueberries are your eye's bodyguards, rose hips are its repair crew. You see, the lens in your eye, the part that bends light so you can focus, is mostly made of water and protein. As we age, this lens starts to cloud and stiffen, forming cataracts. Part of what speeds that up is oxidative stress. Again, those invisible chemical attacks caused by age, pollution, sun exposure, and poor circulation. And one of the most powerful tools we have to fight that stress? Vitamin C. Gram for gram, rose hips have more vitamin C than oranges, lemons, or strawberries. It's not even close. But this isn't just about numbers. It's about what that vitamin C is doing once it gets inside your eyes. Vitamin C is essential for producing collagen, the protein that gives structure and strength to your cornea, the clear front surface of your eye. It also supports the tiny capillaries that feed your retina. Think of it as scaffolding. It keeps your eye firm, stable, and nourished from the inside out. But rose hips bring more than just vitamin C to the table. They also contain flavonoids and carotenoids, two more groups of antioxidants that specifically protect the macula, the central part of your retina that helps you read, recognize faces, and see fine details. In other words, rose hips are doing a lot more than helping you avoid cataracts. They're helping you stay connected to the faces and stories you love. Let me share the story of Elaine. She's 69, a retired librarian with a deep love for crossword puzzles and historical fiction. She came in complaining that her reading glasses weren't helping like they used to. Everything was a little dimmer, a little foggier. She was frustrated. We checked her vision, early signs of cataracts, nothing severe yet. She wasn't ready for surgery, so we looked at her diet and made one small addition: a daily cup of rose hip tea before bed. A gentle ritual, nothing fancy. 6 months later, she told me, "Dr. Bryan, I still need my reading glasses, but I'm not fighting with the words anymore. They don't swim around on the page. I can sit with my book and feel like myself again." That's what this is about. Not miracles, momentum. Rose hip tea is one of the easiest ways to start. You'll find it in many health food stores and often in the tea aisle of larger supermarkets. You can also use rose hip powder, mixing it into smoothies or yogurt. And yes, you can eat rose hips raw, but they must be cleaned and de-seeded properly, as the seeds contain irritating hairs. This is a fruit that asks very little of you. No sugar spikes, no heavy prep. Just a gentle, steady infusion of the nutrients your eyes have been quietly craving. It won't make headlines. It won't be the star of your fruit salad. But day after day, rose hip stands guard, protecting your lens, feeding your capillaries, and shielding your macula. It's the kind of eyesight improvement food we often overlook simply because it isn't loud or trendy. But sometimes the strongest defenders are the ones working quietly behind the scenes. Sometimes the answer has been with us all along: familiar, comforting, and quietly powerful. You might think of strawberries as a summertime treat, maybe something your grandchildren love, or a splash of color in your cereal bowl. But this soft, sweet fruit is more than nostalgia. It's protection, it's nourishment, it's your eye's natural armor, wrapped in red. Strawberries are one of the richest sources of vitamin C among all fruits, second only to rose hips in our discussion today. One cup of fresh strawberries provides more than your entire daily requirement, and in a form your body absorbs beautifully. Unlike synthetic supplements, which can sometimes pass through the body without much impact, the vitamin C in strawberries comes with fiber, water, and natural enzymes that help it do its job. That job? Helping your eyes resist the slow, silent breakdown that aging tries to sneak in. Vitamin C is a key player in maintaining collagen. You've heard that word in skincare ads, but inside your eyes it does something even more important. It supports the clear structure of the cornea, strengthens the small blood vessels feeding the retina, and helps your lens stay transparent. In simple terms, it keeps your eye firm, fed, and free from cloudiness. But there's another reason I love strawberries for vision. They're loaded with anthocyanins, just like blueberries. These are the same compounds that give berries their rich color and their inflammation-fighting power. Inside your eye, anthocyanins help defend against oxidative stress caused by too much screen time, exposure to bright lights, and the normal wear and tear of time. If you've ever felt like your eyes are tired at the end of a day of reading, watching TV, or scrolling on a phone, that's not just fatigue, it's low-level inflammation. Strawberries help fight it, gently and naturally. Let me tell you about Jerome, a 67-year-old retired teacher. He came into my office last year with what he described as fuzzy vision and a constant squint. His prescription hadn't changed in 2 years, but he felt like he couldn't quite see clearly anymore, especially at the end of the day. He didn't want to jump into medications or surgery. What he wanted was to feel sharp again, to trust his eyes. We talked about his diet, and it turned out strawberries were already one of his favorite snacks. He just didn't realize how good they were for his eyes. So instead of reaching for packaged sweets after lunch, he started having a bowl of fresh strawberries. We added a few teaspoons of chia seeds for omega-3s and a spoon of plain Greek yogurt for protein. 3 months later, Jerome told me something that still makes me smile. He said, "You know, Doc, I don't feel like I'm squinting my way through the day anymore. My eyes don't feel like they're begging for a nap by 3 p.m. That's not just hydration or better blood sugar. That's cellular protection. That's repair in action." Strawberries are also incredibly accessible. Fresh, frozen, even dried. Just make sure they're unsweetened. You can toss them in a salad, blend them into a smoothie, or just eat them by the handful. They're sweet enough to feel indulgent, but light enough to keep your blood sugar stable, which is important, especially if you're managing diabetes. This is the beauty of a diet to improve eyesight. It doesn't have to be exotic, expensive, or unfamiliar. Sometimes the best medicine is the one you already love. Strawberries don't just taste good, they feel good. On your tongue, in your body, and deep inside the delicate structures of your aging eyes. Now let's step into something a little more unusual, something you may have seen in the store and walked right past, unsure of what it was or how to eat it. It doesn't look like much from the outside. Green, a little lumpy. Some say it looks like a cross between an artichoke and a pine cone, but inside? Inside it's soft, creamy, and sweet, like custard in fruit form. This is Cherimoya, also known as custard apple, and it might just be one of the most overlooked gifts to your vision. Let's start with the nutrient profile, because this one is special. Cherimoya contains a rich mix of vitamin C, potassium, magnesium, and natural fiber, all working together to support not just your eyes, but your whole body's ability to deliver nutrients where they're needed most. Now you might wonder, what does potassium have to do with vision? Quite a bit, actually. Potassium helps regulate fluid balance in the body, including the eyes. As we age, many people develop dry eye syndrome, where the eyes produce fewer tears or the tears evaporate too quickly. This leads to a scratchy, burning feeling, light sensitivity, and fatigue. It can be deeply uncomfortable and very common in people over 60. Cherimoya helps here in two ways. First, its hydrating properties support tear production. Second, the magnesium and potassium inside help maintain the delicate pressure balance inside the eyeball. This is critical because as intraocular pressure rises over time, it becomes one of the leading risk factors for glaucoma, a condition that causes slow, irreversible loss of vision, often without warning signs. I had a patient once, Carol, age 71, who was borderline for high eye pressure. She wasn't ready for eye drops, but her ophthalmologist and I agreed she needed a lifestyle shift. We focused on hydration, leafy greens, and added cherimoya into her routine twice a week. She called it her spoonable dessert and said it satisfied her sweet tooth without raising her blood sugar. 6 months later, her pressure had stabilized, and she said her eyes no longer felt like crumpled tissue paper at the end of the day. That's not coincidence. That's cellular nourishment in action. And let's not forget fiber. Cherimoya is rich in it, and fiber does something often overlooked when we talk about eye health. It supports the gut, which plays a surprising role in how nutrients are absorbed and used throughout the body. If your digestion isn't working well, you can eat all the right foods but still miss out on their full benefits. A healthy gut means better absorption of antioxidants, more stable blood sugar, and improved circulation, all of which support clear, strong vision. Eating cherimoya is easy once you know how. Just slice it in half, scoop out the soft flesh with a spoon, and discard the black seeds. They're not edible. You can eat it as is, blend it into smoothies, or mix it with banana and almond milk for a nutrient-rich dessert. Is it a little exotic? Sure. But worth it? Absolutely. Remember, a diet to improve eyesight doesn't have to be all leafy greens and carrots. There are sweet, creamy, deeply satisfying ways to nourish your vision. Foods that feel like a treat but act like medicine. Cherimoya is your eye's gentle healer. Quiet, comforting, and full of the kind of nutrients that rebuild you from the inside out. Now imagine slicing open a piece of fruit and seeing bright magenta or snowy white flesh, speckled with tiny black seeds, like something from a dream or a painting. This is dragon fruit, also known as pitaya. It's one of the most visually striking fruits on earth. But what it does for your vision, that's the real beauty. Dragon fruit is packed with the kind of nutrients aging eyes are desperate for, particularly vitamin C, beta-carotene, a form of vitamin A, fiber, and water. These aren't just buzzwords. They are the raw materials your body needs to protect and renew its most delicate tissues. Let's talk about vitamin A, because it often gets overlooked in discussions about cataracts and eye strain. Vitamin A is crucial for night vision. It helps form the pigment rhodopsin in the retina, which is what allows your eyes to adjust to darkness. Without enough of it, you may notice things like needing more light to read, struggling to see when driving at dusk, or slow adjustment when moving between bright and dim environments. Dragon fruit's beta-carotene converts efficiently into vitamin A, giving your retina the support it needs, especially as you age and your body becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients from food. But that's just the start. One of the silent thieves of vision in later life is chronic dehydration. Most people over 65 are mildly dehydrated much of the time, often without realizing it, and the eyes, being mostly fluid themselves, suffer first. You may notice dry, itchy, or burning sensations, that telltale sand in the eyes feeling. This can lead to micro tears in the surface of the eye, making you more sensitive to light, dust, and wind. Dragon fruit has an extremely high water content, and unlike plain water, it comes bundled with electrolytes and antioxidants, which help the moisture stick around longer inside your cells. It's like giving your eyes a sip of structured hydration from the inside out. Then there's the fiber, and this is where dragon fruit really shines, because it doesn't just feed you, it feeds your gut. And your gut, as strange as it sounds, plays a major role in your eyesight. That's because the gut controls how well you absorb zinc, lutein, vitamin C, and omega-3s, all key for healthy retinas and for preventing age-related macular degeneration. When your digestion is sluggish or inflamed, those nutrients don't get where they need to go. But when your gut is supported through fiber-rich, hydrating fruits like dragon fruit, your body becomes a more efficient, better-tuned machine, one that knows how to protect its most precious resources, including your eyes. I remember Carmen, 70 years old, bright spirit, yoga lover. She came to me after cataract surgery on one eye. The other was still developing a cloud, but she wanted to try slowing it down naturally. She said, "Dr. Brian, I want to feel like my eyes belong to me again." We focused on hydration, blood sugar control, and nutrient-rich foods. I introduced her to dragon fruit, not something she'd ever tried before. She started adding it to her morning smoothies with spinach and a splash of almond milk. 3 months in, she said, "I can't believe how alive my eyes feel, like they're not dragging me through the day anymore." That's the difference a single fruit can make. You can enjoy dragon fruit fresh, just slice and scoop, seeds and all. You can also blend it, freeze it into cubes for smoothies, or mix it with yogurt and oats. Choose the bright flesh varieties when you can. They tend to have the highest antioxidant content. This is a natural shield for your eyes. It cools inflammation, it quenches cellular thirst, and it provides the kind of deep, colorful nourishment that makes real eyesight improvement possible. Not in theory, but in your lived everyday experience. Dragon fruit is not just beautiful, it's purposeful, especially for those of us who know how precious each day of clear vision really is. You've heard the science, but sometimes the most powerful proof comes from real lives. Margaret, 74, from Arizona, added a cup of blueberries to her breakfast every day. Within weeks, her reading sessions felt easier, and the evening eye strain she once dreaded, nearly gone. Henry, 68, in Michigan, started sipping rose hip tea nightly. Not only did it ease his dry, gritty eyes, it helped stabilize his eye pressure. giving him and his doctor a welcome surprise. And Carmen from California, her daily smoothies with strawberries and dragon fruit brought not just clarity, but comfort and energy she hadn't felt in years. If I had to choose just one fruit to recommend above all others for aging eyes, it would be blueberries. They're accessible, they're powerful, and they're backed by more scientific research than almost any other fruit when it comes to foods to improve eyesight and protect against cataracts, retinal damage, and inflammation. But here's the truth. You don't have to pick just one. Each of these five fruits offers a different kind of support. Together, they form a complete natural defense system for your vision. Your eyes deserve that kind of care, because protecting your eyesight is protecting your independence. Start with just one fruit. Add it to your breakfast, blend it into a smoothie, or enjoy it as a midday treat. This isn't about overhauling your diet overnight. It's about nourishing your eyes one simple step at a time. Because your vision isn't just about seeing clearly, it's about living fully. Reading to your grandkids, driving safely, watching the sunset without squinting, that's the life we're protecting. So if this message resonated with you, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to Ageless Garden, and share your promise below by commenting, "I commit to protecting my eyes." You deserve it.